Let's make these adorable hand embroidered bibs from scratch. You're going to need some muslin fabric, a template, some carbon paper, a pattern and a pencil, scissors, a rotary blade if you want, some embroidery floss, a needle, and then I chose to use button snaps for a closure. So you're going to cut out your fabric with your template. You're going to have the fabric folded over and cut around it with your rotary blade. You can use regular scissors, but this just makes it way easier. So here's the front of your bib, and you're going to cut this out 2 times. So now that you have both parts of your bib, you can just choose one of them, doesn't matter which one. Use the carbon paper to transfer the name or whatever you want to embroider on one side of your bib. I just use a pencil to trace over it, and it transfers onto the fabric super well. So for this bib, I started with the chain stitch. I'll link above more detail about the chain stitch, but you're going to go up through your fabric, then put your needle back down exactly where you just came up. Then go a stitch width forward, and then make sure that it's looped around and pull it all the way through. So then you're going to keep doing that over and over again. So I ended up doing most of this name and then realized that I did not like the way that this stitch looked. But I did want to show you that I tried it out this way and how it looked, and I'm going to show you the way that I actually ended up sticking with. So this is the new one I ended up doing, and I'm going to do a backwards chain stitch this time. I tried it on the E just to make sure I knew how to do it because I've never actually done this stitch before. Now I'm going to show you how to do it with the L. So you're just going to put a little tiny straight stitch to start off, all the way down. Then go up a stitch width forward and go up through the back of the fabric. Pull it all the way through, and then put it underneath that first stitch without going through the fabric. Then go down exactly in that hole that you went up through. Then again, a stitch width forward, and you're going to put it all the way through. And then underneath that first loop that you just made without going through the back of the fabric. You're going to stay on the front side of the fabric. Then go down through the fabric. So it's very similar to the chain stitch. It looks almost identical, but it's a little bit tighter and it's backwards. You're going like the opposite way. So because it's a little bit tighter, it just looked neater with all these letters. Also, when I transferred her name this time, I made the E and the O a little bit taller. So I used the same exact pattern, but I just kind of freehand it and made it the letters a little bit bigger. Also, I am using 3 strands of embroidery floss, doubled over to make 6. You could do this with 2 strands doubled over to make 4, or if you want the letters thicker, you could do 4 strands doubled over to make 8. Just really depends on how big and how long the name is and how thick you want the writing. I kept the first one I did just to show you the difference in the regular chain stitch and the backwards chain stitch. It just looks a little bit neater and easier to read all the letters. So this is the regular chain stitch. I didn't like there was no opening in the E, and then the O just looked way too smushed. Wasn't loving it yet. And then this is the backwards chain stitch, and it's just a little bit easier to read. Now onto the sewing. So you're going to take your embroidered part of your bib and then the back of your bib, and you're going to put them on top of each other so that the embroidery is facing the inside. Line the two pieces up as best as you can, and then pin them so they don't move while you're sewing. So we are sewing this inside out. So the embroidery is facing in between the two pieces at the moment. I start sewing at the part of the bib that sits closest to the baby's neck, and you're going to leave a little opening. So stitch all the way around the bib, and then make sure you leave a little opening so that we can flip it right side out. Don't forget to backstitch so that your thread doesn't come undone. Now I'm just going to clean up these edges so that they're not super thick and clumpy. And I'm going to cut this piece off here so that when I flip it right side out, that corner will be a little smoother. So you can cut pretty close to the stitching here. Just make sure that you don't cut into the stitching and that both sides are stitched all the way. You don't have any openings in the fabric. So now we're gonna flip it right side out. It's a little tricky, it takes a while, and you wanna be careful not to catch your embroidery on anything, but take your time with it and smooth out all your edges. Then I like to iron it, and we are gonna close up this hole. I'm using regular sewing machine thread here, not embroidery floss. And I'm doing what's called a ladder stitch or an invisible stitch. So you're going up in between the two pieces that are open to hide the knot. And you are going to go back and forth between the two pieces that are open. Try to keep them as straight as possible while going forward in your fabric. Pulling it tight as you go. And just keep going all the way until that hole is completely closed. Now I'm just going to add the snap. You can do snaps, Velcro, or you can just make these two pieces a little longer so that you can tie them together however you want the bib to close. But if you do use snaps, they should come with instructions on how to do this. And my snap box came with all these little tools that I'm using to get the snaps on. Then just test the snap out, make sure that it pops in okay, make sure that you can unsnap it and it doesn't pull through your fabric or doesn't come loose. Make sure that it's secure on there well. And that is it. Thank you for stitching along with me, and let me know in the comments if you made one or if there's anything else you want me to show you how to stitch.